How's everybody? Let's talk then. Can you not hear me? Oh, okay. This is my wife, Celia. I'm her better half.
And it starts right as we sit down.
Did everybody do their homework last week?
Raise your hand. If you
raise
did
your
homework,
hand. I'm going to
so
put
we
you on
can
the
see.
spot if you did your homework.
Wow.
All right.
I'm impressed.
The rest of y'all's marriages are falling apart. Just let them go. What we're doing here is we wanted to do a marriage series because we feel like just in the couples we know and the marriages that we deal with all the time, we seem to have some manic marriages. And what happens is, we're in love, and then, we hate each other, and then we're in love, and then we hate each other. Here's the weird thing about you guys' relationships is it's not only like that in your homes, but you Facebook it. So like, if you read your Facebook post, man, you're love, hate, love, hate, love, hate. It's like crazy. So, you might tame down on the extremes on Facebook a little bit. But we think that God's shown us over the years just in our marriage and in dealing with other couples. And I'll be honest, man, we had to get education. We had to learn how to be married. It didn't come natural. And I don't think it comes natural to a lot of people. It seems easy. How many of you guys are like in high school or like college early? Like, I'll tell you this, marriage seems so simple. You get married and it's just like every other thing, you just go on with it. Well, that ain't the way it works. Okay. How many of you guys have been married like less than 5 years? See, it's a lot different than you thought it would be, right? So we,
How long's been married? Like 30 years. Anybody in here 30 years and up?
40?
40?
45? 50?
Wow.
So we got two couples over 45?
I think they deserve a round of applause.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Wow. Yeah, I found out about Sandra this weekend that y'all were a blind date? Is that right? A blind date. Look at that. 45 years later.
She had to be blind.
That's awesome. He knows that because that's what people say about him.
Yeah, I had to be blind.
Debit.
Today we wanted to talk to you about debits and credits, and the thing is, and I started this last week, if you don't care about your marriage, this is going to do you no good. This whole series is going to do you absolutely no good. And outside of that, if you're not married, if you're single, you can get so much out of this. If you're a single parent, you need to be taking sheets of notes, because not only does this affect your relationship with your kids, this affects you training them up in how to be married. Because one thing that is a generational curse, and there's a lot of people are like, it's not a curse. Look, curse just means that when you fall outside the will of God, it seems to follow for generations. Usually, in this is not an always, but usually divorced parents have divorced kids who have divorced kids who have divorced kids. It just happens because we learn how to be divorced. We grow up learning and knowing how to be divorced. When we have a good, stable home, a good, stable marriage, we teach our kids, if we're parenting correctly, we teach our kids you don't have to be dating a lot. One of the reasons that is because if there is this lack or this missing of this love or affection this felt need in your children from you, they're going to find it somewhere else. So they're going to look for it in boyfriends, girlfriends, or whatever. And what's going to happen because of the way junior high and high school goes is you're going to have a boyfriend breakup, have a boyfriend breakup, have a girlfriend breakup, have a girlfriend breakup. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying.
Which is really just...
Not experimentally, you know. But
to me, when you're doing that, boyfriend breakup, you're only practicing for divorce.
We practice divorce in our culture. We encourage our kids to get boyfriends and girlfriends at young ages, and then they break up, and they experience that heartache and that loss. And then, so when we get married, then we're used to that. It's normal. We don't expect much to last very long anyway, because I've had 50 girlfriends, and you know, we always broke up. So the thing is, when we parent from a felt love experience, like we know what our kids' felt loves are, then we can give them their needs, and
so they don't search it
they don't
out.
start looking in other places. So that's why it's important. Also, for you singles who seem to struggle in relationships, you might consider that you're not achieving and experiencing relationships that last because you don't give anything. You don't meet anybody else's needs, love needs. And so, because honestly, we don't like to hang around people we don't like. Correct? So if I don't like somebody, I'm not going to want to spend an immense amount of time with them. I'm sure not going to keep them around in my life for a long period, right? So if you find yourself in friendships that are constantly, you know, we're friends for 2 weeks and then we're not friends anymore. Well, you might check and see what you're doing, whether you're not receiving the love that you feel what love is, or you're not giving what your friends. So we need to see what it is for all relationships. We're just bringing it today into a context of marriage. So take your context and apply it, because what we're talking about are human needs. All right? Human needs. Now, what I wanted to really talk about today, and then we're going to go into how each one of these needs probably next week fit into this. I don't know how far we'll get into this today. But again, this comes from one of the best counselings I've ever gotten, and that's from His Needs, Her Needs. Again, man, if your marriage is struggling, you need to know this book inside out. You don't need to buy it because it's not that awesome to just decorate with, right? You need to get it, open it, highlight it, fold pages, use it, memorize it, learn it, know it, live it, okay? And it will help you. But Dr. Willard Harley has helped us in our marriage so much. And he's got a website, him and his wife. It's called marriagebuilders.com. Now, anything we talk about in here, you guys were asking last week, a lot of you didn't get the list of needs. marriagebuilders.com. All of this is step-by-step free marriage counseling that you can go through in the privacy of your home at your own pace, and it will walk you through everything. And when you hit a stumbling block, like infidelity, like sexual aversion, like some of the biggies, recovering your marriage, it goes off into a sidetrack on those things, which is great. And it's very, very helpful. But it comes back to the same point again. If you're not willing to put in the work, your marriage is over. You might as well call it. If you just aren't going to put in the work, it's over. But if you want to recover your marriage, if you want to have that life that's beyond what just an ordinary get-by life, then we'll put in the work. Like nothing that's great comes free or easy, right? We know that. Everything that's worth having is worth working for.
So why do we think our marriages are any different?
Yeah.
We just think we get married and everything's just going to fall into place. We don't have to work on that anymore.
Not everybody can have a great body like me. Somebody got to work at it.
You got to work at it. Got to work at it.
What do you say? That's a debit. The eye roll is a debit. Ladies. Okay, this is also a no elbowing, no texting, plunks. Where they at? No inter-service texting. No elbowing, no eye rolling, no glances, no stares. This is for you. Okay. This is for you. This isn't for your husband or your wife. You're like, I got this. He's the one that can't grasp it. This is for all of you. So what we want to talk about today is how these needs work, okay? And we went through this last week, and if you haven't heard it, you might go listen to it, but I'll just give you a quick rundown of the needs. These are the major emotional needs that all human beings have. These, and we usually have 5 of them that are extremely important to us. And what I said last week, and this is important to grasp, in marriage, if you can meet the top 1 or 2 of your spouse's really felt emotional needs, then they're going to feel that you love them. And your marriage can be excellent if you're just meeting her or his top 1 or 2. Now, if you start hitting all 5, man, it's bliss. I don't even know what that means, but it's bliss. So, the emotional needs that basic humans have is the need for affection, which means cards and letters and flowers and gifts and notes and texts and things that say I love you in action and deeds. And so it's holding hands and a little sneaking a little kiss, like, and glances across the room, like,
We do that in band practice all the time, little glances, right, Ben?
Yeah. Yeah, because she's got a lot of debits during band practice.
Okay, let's explain that real quick as
Okay.
we go. The love bank is what we're talking about, debits and credits. You have a bank account, just think of it like real life. You have a bank account. When you take money out, you go below, you go negative. When you put money in, you get positive. And so we're talking about each one of these needs that he's fixing to tell you. If I'm meeting that, it's going to give me a credit in the love bank. And
like when I'm feeling loved, and she can be saying she loves me in her language, but if I'm not feeling it, it don't count. So if she's not feeling,
speaking his
if
language.
she's not speaking my language of love, then she's no credits. Sorry. I mean, you'd be working your tail off, and there's no credits.
I can give him flowers all day. I can give him gifts, whatever, all day long.
Guitars. That'll work.
That might work. Yeah. That's different.
That means you love me.
That's different. But
hints, anybody?
Stop.
People who love me give me guitars.
Quit. Anyway, forget.
It's true. We're talking about love banks. Anyway, what you want to do is you want to put as many credits in the bank. You want to build that love bank. And the more build up you have in your love bank, honestly, you can trip up and it not kill your marriage. But if you're already in the negative and you trip up, it's going to destroy your marriage. And it can go, we talked about the stages of marriage being intimacy, which means both people have huge love banks. And then with conflict is when everybody's taken out of the love banks. And then withdrawal means your love bank's depleted. You don't even care anymore. Account closed. Like, you can't even put stuff in my bank. You have to go open a new account and start over. And so as we start talking about these, we want to make as many credits into each other's account as possible. Now, on the flip side of that, when we start doing the opposite of what she or he feels is love, those are called love busters. Those make you fall out of love. And you can fall out of love. That's why people get divorced. Like, you understand that, right? Because people get married because you feel love, right? How many of you guys got married and say, I don't love them, I just married them? Don't raise your hand. Put it down. God, what is wrong with you people? No, nobody did that. I'm just joking. No. Somebody got their ribs broke just then. Now, when we get married, it's because we feel love, right? Well, we get divorced because we fall out of love. And the reason we fall out of love is because we haven't maintained our love bank. You only get married because you've made enough credits. Like you have to be feeding that machine before you got enough credits to say, hey, I might spend my life with this person. Does that make sense? Okay. You can answer back when I say that. There's some, yeah, now you're like, I don't want to get tricked. I'm not answering nothing anymore. Yeah, we want to put as many credits in. So like affection is one, but when it's a love buster, it would be something like missing a birthday, missing an anniversary. Those things are huge love busters for someone whose primary felt need is affection. Somebody reaching out to hold your hand and pulling it away, flat out rejection. I think understanding, most women understand they don't deal well with rejection. Most guys don't deal well with it, but we don't call it rejection because we're too cool and macho to do that. But we still feel the sensation of rejection. And anytime you are rejected, nobody likes to be rejected, right? Never. It's not a good thing to be rejected. And so that's a huge...
And again, think of that by way of your children, too, that you're raising kids. Think of that in those terms as well. If their need is a hug or whatever, or their need is they like to get flowers, or what do they do for you? Do they give you flowers? Do they give you something out of the yard?
Drawings,
milkweed,
pictures, notes.
Whatever, yeah.
Ella writes me notes everywhere. I come in, my office is covered with notes. I love you,
but
Daddy.
But if she saw one in the trash can, that
oh
would
my God,
devastate
it breaks her
her.
heart. So I have to put them on the
think
bottom
about that.
and cover it up with tissue. Can't keep all that, man. It's like too much.
And while we're going down these two, think about when you first fell in love with your spouse. Think about what was it that was going on, what need were they meeting back when you first fell in love. Think about these things too.
If you fell in love with somebody because when they picked you up, they opened the door for you, that was a big deal. And like that made you say, he loves me. Yeah. Then they stop doing things like that, then you're like, he doesn't love me anymore.
And then they just say, I'm leaving, they get in the car and they just drive off and they don't wait on you. Like you do every Sunday. Yeah. Y'all can attest to that on Sunday. He's in the car. He's leaving.
I was 30 minutes late today. I waited.
Yeah, you did. Okay, you did.
Okay. That's because I didn't have my car at home.
Carry on.
The next, that's affection. The next one is sexual fulfillment, and this means a fulfilling sex life. Now, in marriage only, yeah. Sexual fulfillment's the one thing. It's the one on this list that's hard to deal with because you can have that as a primary love need before you get married, but the actual physical act of it is going to do the exact opposite. When you engage in sex before you get married, it introduces insecurity and it introduces all of these problems that later, that even if it's 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, those things are coming back. Those feelings, those emotions, those insecurities, those whatever they are going to come back. And so it really seems like it would be fulfilling, but it does the exact opposite. It destroys relationships. So sexual fulfillment is, I'm going to do a whole talk on sex, so I'm not going to get into it too deep, but it is the glue. Making love with your spouse is like the icing on the marriage cake, and it is just what makes a great marriage go through the roof. And the thing is, if both people in a marriage are feeling love, and I mean feeling, experiencing, felt love, then sex is going to be natural and it's going to be amazing and it's going to send the marriage through the roof. But if you're not and you're going through it anyway, that's not sexually fulfilling, and it's actually rejecting and it's debit. It's really a love buster. So we'll get into that a lot deeper later. Meaningful conversation was another one. That means you fell in love with each other because he just shared all of his deepest thoughts and dreams and hopes with me, and now he don't talk to me anymore. He just says, where's the remote? Recreational companionship means that you want someone, when you feel loved, is when someone participates in the things that you really enjoy. If you like pottery, but you can't get your husband to go do, what is that movie, Ghost? If you can't get him to do Ghost with you. Now, most guys would do that if you just ask them right. Forget about that. Forget I said that. What was I talking about?
Keep going.
Ghost. Honesty and openness is, I found out in my experience in dealing with people, this is a huge one. If you come from unstable homes, people have this as a love need more. If like your parents didn't speak and hated each other or kept secrets from each other, then that develops in your kids as a need for love. And so openness and honesty comes out heavy, and people generally come from broken homes. Or in my case, that's important. It's not one of my top ones, but it's important because my family had no secrets. So everybody, if you had something to say in my house, you just said it. I mean, and chips fell and nobody was offended. It was just the way we interact so when we first got married, Celia just was freaked out around my house all the time because it's like, just talk about whatever pops up anytime, and that was really weird for her. The next one is physical attractiveness, and everybody's like, oh, that's shallow. Well, it's not if it's your love need. I mean, if you attracted your spouse by dressing up, by putting on perfume or cologne or dressing neatly, or if she married a guy in Dockers and a tie and now you wear gray sweatpants, you're saying, man, I used to love you, but not anymore. You know what I mean? So physical attractiveness is, this isn't, if this isn't one of your needs, you think that's stupid, honestly. But I've had couples that come down to separating, moving out because of this one. And that it's an important thing all of these, there's no wrong answer. This is who you are. Don't apologize for who you are. Communicate who you are to your spouse so they can meet those needs. Does that make sense? All right, financial support. This is huge, especially among women. It's huge. It's got to be somebody's top 3 in a marriage, or you're going to be a financial disaster. It's got to be important to somebody. And this is one area that I've neglected for years to see, because if I see something I want, I get it. I'm like, I got enough money, I'm going to get it. Well, from her perspective, even if we had enough money, it's like the financial security is what's important. What if, we don't have enough here for this, if that happens or whatever. And it is one of her big,
and I think it is, if you think about whenever you're growing up, if you came from a home where money was tight, and mom and dad budgeted all the time, and you just never had enough, and you didn't get all the cool toys or whatever, I think that's where it comes from, I guess, because now I'm like, okay, I'm in control of my own finances now, and it's very important for me to make sure we have enough money to make it here. I don't want to use credit cards. I want to use cash. So when he's like, oh, we'll just put it on the credit card and we're paying it off in 2 months, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. It makes me nervous because he never does. Be like, you say it. How many can relate? You say you're going to.
No, that's not true. That's lying.
No.
Tell the truth.
Should I go get the credit card statement?
No.
Right? Actually, though, I will give him this.
Yeah, let's go,
okay,
actually.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I will give him this. He's been selling stuff like crazy, trying to pay off some guitar he bought. So that speaks volumes to me because he's trying.
It's paid off.
Yeah, it is. It did pay off. That's right. It's paid off.
Yeah, with extra.
And with
that
a little
you
extra
spent.
that we.
Don't ever sell it for extra unless you keep it on you.
That's true. No, but that spoke volumes to me because
my sales became our money.
Yeah. because financial security is big to me. So when I saw that he was over there trying to sell stuff to pay off what he had charged, that spoke volumes to me. He really does care about me because he is trying to pay off.
Isn't that weird that me selling stuff told her I love her? That doesn't even sound right.
But that's just the way it is.
That's the way it is.
It is what it is.
The other one is domestic support. Now it can go either way. And what this means is who takes care, like if you don't pick up after yourself or my girls are everybody in my house, I'll just say all the girls in my house, it's everybody, that includes everybody. They will not put trash in a trash can. I don't get it.
It's because we're always late.
I just don't understand. And dishes and just clothes, if domestic support says you love you and you're a pig, you're saying I don't love you.
I could do better in that area, I admit.
And neatness and tidiness is important to me. Every day I walk through the door and I have to pick up the house because nobody loves me. So,
as corny as that sounds, that's true. If that's your need,
I mean, my kids are pigs, and they're like, my daughter's car, she lives in it. It looks like a homeless person lives in that car. I couldn't ride in there. Today,
in her eyes.
In your eyes. See, and here's how we define clean. What's clean to her? No, know
if
how.
That's your need. You might ought to sit down and talk about it.
So if somebody is interested in my daughter, like she's going to go on a date with somebody, and they're going to get in her car and they're going to go, "It's not the girl for me. Can't take it. Can't take it." And the same thing, like financial security is one. Like a girl, if your need, guys, let me tell you this: if you're dating, whatever, if a girl's love, emotional need is financial security, and you don't pick up the check when you go out, done. It's over. Quit now. You're wasting your time because she's done with you. So.
I realized actually when we started talking about what it was we fell in love with each other, why did we fall in love? What need were you meeting at the time? And I realized that financial security was one because I looked at him and I said, he's a Marine, he's got a job, he can't get out of. So I know we got a job, He had a car, a nice car. I liked it. He was going to take me to California. I'm like, this is the man right here. He met everything I needed.
All of this?
Yeah. And he wore a uniform.
So another one is family commitment. How committed is the person to raising the kids, being involved in their education, their upbringing, making a good family home and raising a stable family. And it's weird because I think we just that's one of our least for both of us. So our kids are just like,
y'all go wherever you want to go.
Yeah, dude. Oh, you didn't want to go to school today? All right. No,
it's not.
No, it's not that bad. But we're not either one. Thank God it's not, because we'd probably be divorced if that was somebody's primary, because it's so minimal. But I think because everything else in our family runs pretty smooth, maybe it doesn't have to be. I don't know.
Well, I know too. When we got married, we made a commitment that we will not divorce.
Yeah.
So I already know that commitment is made from both of us. So I'm not concerned so much about his family involvement, I guess, because we're together all the time.
24.
So there's not
8.
Yeah. I don't know. Carry on. Well, yeah.
And the last one is admiration. Admiration is one that I think most people, because it's politically incorrect to need to be admired.
Yeah. So
we kind of suppress it, but I think it's a top 1 or 2 for most people. For a lot of people, I don't say most, but it's up there. And the thing is, you'll know people admiration. People like who are told, you're the best at this. And when somebody tells you that, they're your favorite person in the world. Like, you're just like, man, they're the greatest thing, ever.
And then on the opposite end, if that person where you need the admiration and that person says to you, you're an idiot, that just like...
Yeah. If you call somebody a tailor, no.
That's an inside joke.
I knew you'd like that.
That's inside.
That comes from the tour. That's
yeah. We got way too close.
Yeah.
In the tour.
But one of the things, here's a good sign of somebody who needs admiration. And what I found in this church, and this isn't true in every church I've been in, but this is the most insecure people group that I've ever seen put together. And insecure people usually thrive on admiration. It just comes, we mask it as in our insecurities all the time. We're like, I suck, I'm no good, whatever. And the truth is, man, we're crying out for admiration. And people who say, man, you're doing great, or you're good at this, or I really like the way you do that, man, we're naturally attracted to those kind of people. And the way this works, and I wanted to get into this, the way the love bank works, and this is a good example, is if you're nagging your husband and his primary need is admiration, you are withdrawing debits and you are crushing him with that need. You're saying, not only do I not love you, I hate you, I dislike you. And when he goes to work, there's going to be somebody at work that's going to go, man, I think you're the best at this, or your wife is a lucky woman, or whatever, and man, you really look nice today, or whatever it is. And instantly, there's going to be an attraction set up there, and you are losing the battle at home. And whether or not you know it, if you're in this, if you're being attracted that way, if someone is meeting outside of your marriage is the primary, and we all have friends who meet our needs. That's why we have friends, right? We like to be around certain people because of that. But if someone is the primary meter, the primary meter of your major need, you're having an affair. That's all there is to it. You're having an affair. That affair will end up in sex eventually. But the affair started long before you ever had sex. It'll end up there because it's where I think everything's about sex, but that's a whole different thing. I think everything comes down to sex. But the affair is already happening. That's why an internet affair, people are like, well, no harm, no foul. No, it can be even on over the internet where you're having your emotional needs met, your primary emotional needs met by someone other than your spouse, then you're having an affair. You're in red flags, warnings, call it off, quit, stop, break it, end it, move, quit, whatever you got to do. You got to stop that because your marriage will end, and just because the debits in your marriage and someone else is putting credits in your bank. Here's the thing: you don't want anybody else putting a bunch of credits in your spouse's bank, right? No, we don't want that, right? You want to be the one to put all the credits in your spouse's love bank. And so the way these all work and the way you can think about the way love actually works, the way we feel and experience love is people who meet my needs credit my love bank. They have credits in my love bank. And people who withdraw those felt needs, people who withdraw from that, I don't like them. Now, if that's my wife, that's a bad thing, right? And if it's friends, then we won't be friends very long. So like openness and honesty, right? Here, this one breaks down in friendships more than anything. Because if a friend lies about you, stabs you in the back, starts rumors about you, man, that friendship's over, right? Why? Why don't you like that person? Well, because they withdrew from your love bank. They brought love busters in. They broke down the relationship, and that's the way it works. That's the way the love bank works in marriage. So here's what I want you to do this week, okay? This is important. Again, if you didn't do your homework last week, you got to do your homework. If you don't know what at least your number one and number two felt, and I mean, what do you really feel? Forget political correctness, forget all that. What makes you feel love? I love it when my wife does. I fell in love with her because she did whatever, fill in the blank. I remember the night I fell in love with her, she did whatever. You know, she wore that perfume, or she fixed her hair, or, took a bath. Cooked a meal, the way to a man's heart, through his stomach, right? Good. No, that isn't why I fell in love with her. She burns water when it boils. But that's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
The thing is, I need you to do, though, is listen to how stupid this is. Now, I'm not calling you stupid, but I'm calling you stupid. Listen to how stupid this is. You want someone to make you feel loved when you don't even know what makes you feel loved. You want them to magically discover something in you that makes you feel loved. Ta-da! It don't work that way. If you don't know what makes you feel loved, then how in the world is somebody else going to make you feel loved? They may be working with everything in them. There may be a couple here who one of the people in the marriage is doing everything. I mean, putting in overtime to try to save this thing, working like a dog. But their marriage is Burger King and they're working at McDonald's. They're not getting anything done. And there's frustration, and then it starts to be a two-edged sword. It starts cutting both ways because I'm doing all this and I'm experiencing rejection. That's all I'm experiencing. After all this work, I'm being rejected at every turn.
And you can look and see, most of the time, you can figure out your needs because it's what you will do for him. Because it's just your default. You'll just I will buy him stuff I always do that. I always give him stuff, and
No
it doesn't
pants,
really matter to him,
kids.
Stuff
from
so
the
you can
supply
tell that
closet.
that's important to me. What? Oh, I gave him that watch. Yeah, see?
That's an arm clock. Flavor Flav.
But that's one way you can kind of tell what some of your top, because you tend to talk in your own
I didn't
language.
have to sell anything to get it.
So, no, he didn't. But that's one way to tell.
When you don't have to sell stuff that you're loved. Again, man, this week you got to know what it is. But here's your assignment. That was the assignment last week. If you didn't do it,
You're gonna do double homework now.
Well, what you need to do this week is you need to take your needs and you need to share them. You're going to have to communicate these needs. Now, a lot of times, here's the way this is going to break down for a lot of you guys. You're going to give her yours and it's going to be sexual fulfillment, and she's going to go, it always comes down to sex. and there's going to be this push off, there's going to be rejection. He's trying to tell you, get this book, open it to the page and go, this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
This is me. Because coming from him, it's a lot less abrasive. Because what's happening is and I will discuss this, but like sex is a big one. Sex never starts in the bedroom. Never. Sex starts in the morning. It starts in the coming home from work. It starts in the cooking of dinner, cleaning up the house, giving a call, sending a text during the day. I was just thinking about you. Sex starts whenever you start meeting a need, because then there is a compulsion to meet your need. Somebody's got to go first.
That's the hard part. Someone's got to just go first, because like if his need is that, but he's not meeting any of my financial support need or admiration or whatever needs, then why would I want to meet his? You know? And that's the battle you get into.
And then there's frustration will build up, and then you're just a jerk for so long that just is like, fine, and then you do it, and then it's like, that's not fulfilling, so that's a debit within itself, because it's just more rejection. And you see how fragile and how easy it is for love busters and love credits. They walk a real fine line, and it's so easy to have little things turn into huge things because of the effects of not only making a debit, but then, really driving it home.
And what's going to happen now is you're going to sit down, you're going to exchange your list, and you're going to be like, well, I don't want to give him a gift now because he's telling me to do it. Or
I don't want to go hang out with him at whatever, at a mud bog. I don't know what people do.
Because I know I'm not doing it because I want to. I'm doing it because he told me to do it. Well, let's just put the slate clean right now. No one's telling anybody anything. Just do it.
I always say that it's good to exchange these lists naked, because that usually lowers the confrontation level. It's just a good,
You got to wrap it up.
That always takes the edge off. So, I don't know. Just a thought. Whatever. Whatever works for you. But, I don't know. You got to exchange them sometime.
Anyway.
So, anyway, your assignment, should you choose to accept it, is to know your needs and exchange those things. Here's the thing, if you're single too, or if you're a single parent, do this with your kids. Do this with your kids. If they're old enough to, don't do it that way. That's weird. You can get arrested for that. Don't do that. But the thing is, you need to do this. Also, if you're single, you're not ever getting married, you don't have kids, you don't care. Look at your relationships and go, why do I struggle in relationships so bad? Everybody should go through this. If you want to be a success in life, you have to know who you are and what you like. No one can please you. No one can look, we all want love, right? Does anybody in here don't want love? Nobody, right? Everybody wants love. Well, nobody can love you if you don't know how to be loved. I don't care if you're single, married, green, black, pink, or purple. If you don't know how to be loved, no one can love you. So everybody needs to know, if you want to be a success in life, and a successful life is a life where I'm loved and where I love, then you have to know what it is about you that you love, that makes you feel that. And then the more you do that, the more you're going to see this in other people. When we started going through this, I went through everybody I know, and I'm like, man, this person is this, and that person is this, and this person
My boss is this. That's something you want to look at
man,
too.
if you know what your boss's love,
If love languages,
yeah, like if it's admiration, you're the greatest boss ever.
Promotion.
Yeah, use it. Manipulation? No, it's not. No. But use it. People want love. You know, the meanest, nastiest people in the world are that way because they don't know how to be loved. If you crack that code, man, you're going to change who they are. Your boss is mean and nasty. Find out what makes them feel loved and love them. Does it make sense? All right, let me pray for you and we'll just call it. I've gone too far already. God, I just pray.
She said,